Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick, and today, guys, we're going to be jumping down into the world of XRP, taking a look at the price action and where I think things are heading next. As I get into today's video, if you do find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe? You can always unsubscribe later. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, what are you waiting for? Check it out, linked in the description below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. So why not go ahead and check it out. Let's jump right down into today's video, kicking things off with the 1 hour time frame. So here's XRP paired up with USDT. We're using the BitGet spot exchange and of course the 1 hour time frame. So as you can kind of see, we've been tracking the idea of a WXY, X and Z. It had obviously changed its price target since the last video ever so slightly, but for the most part we are right inside here. We technically have already tapped into the Z wave, basically between the price of 49.495 and 50.580. Okay, so I suspect we got further downside here before we rally anywhere, but for the most part I think, yeah, this is actually right on track. So for the most part here, I think we got a little bit deeper to go. We can kind of track an idea internally in this Z wave pattern of potentially a zigzag pattern. Okay, we have a pretty steep move to the downside here, rally up, another deep move down, and so I don't think we are doing a kind of typical kind of impulsive structure, but I do think that we are in a diagonal based pattern as we came down deeper than 1.236 ever so slightly. So for the most part I suspect that we are going to end up with something that will look somewhat like this, and then we'll bounce on up a little ways, and actually might be really aggressive on the move to the upside. I don't exactly know how that's going to play out until we get there, but for the most part after that's done we move down in another 5-wave pattern deeper into the Z wave. Okay, and so what you'll end up finding is that this is a giant 3-wave pattern that gets us deeper into this Z wave structure. Okay, so it could look something like this. It will look like it's just ranging sideways, which again is very equally fine, not a problem. A double bottom with the Y wave is also something that we could see within the Z wave. So for the most part, not too too far off from seeing this one kind of play out, I don't think. So it could be a pretty interesting time for XRP. Now, if I remove that off, you can see that the stochastic RSI on this 1 hour time frame is quite high, so we suspect that it's going to start to see a bit of a reversal. However, with that being said, the 4 hour and 8 hour time frames are of course in oversold positions and are looking for a move to the upside. So we've got to move down a little ways, finish off this 5th wave move, then progress upwards towards to cause overbought on those time frames, and then we'll move back down in that next 5-wave drop. So for the most part, on this hourly chart, it's pretty much expect volatility, right? We're not going to be seeing any large breakout or breakdown moves, I don't think, until we kind of complete these mini structures. Let's take this up into the daily. Because in here we do see death cross looming on XRP here, right? So XRP, USDT again, BitGet, and what you can see here is the 50 moving average and the 50 exponential moving average looking to come down lower and cross below the 200 exponential moving average, right? This was a technical term would be a death cross. So there's many different types, or let's say not necessarily lots of different types of these. Different analysts will have different approaches to this. Sometimes it might be a 21 SMA going lower than let's say the 50 EMA and so forth. But for the most part, if you check out things like Investopedia and other literature on this, it's essentially a 50 EMA crossing lower than a 200 EMA. Sometimes you might want to use a 50 moving average on the 200 exponential or a 50 SMA on a 200 exponential. So for the most part, it's always a 200 exponential moving average. Usually you look for these on daily. Anything lower than that, you're going to see a lot of them. But for the most part, the daily time frame is where you'll be looking. And we can see here that we're probably only a few days off this death cross situation occurring. So just kind of keep that in mind. We've had an interesting run so far on the daily time frame, where we had seen a 14.39% lift since let me find the 11th of September. So we've had a pretty reasonable run up here, but we have found that resistance now on the 200 daily EMA, and with this death cross looming, we suspect further to the downside to be had here. Okay, now we are tracking this this within a 5-wave move or a 5th wave structure. Okay, and so therefore we are looking for 35.17 to 39.21 cent on the low side. And for all we've really experienced so far is potentially the bounce before we have the wave 3, before we bounce again and go down into the wave 5 of the 5th wave, which happens to be a wave 3 in total. If I zoom out of here, you can see we're in the wave 5 of the wave 3, and that means that we've got further to the downside. But internally on those smaller time frames, I think we are either in the wave 2 right now, where we're looking for the wave 3, 4, and 5. So we are potentially starting wave 3 of wave 5 of wave 3, right? So we can see how this is kind of nesting down quite nicely. Death cross looming. We've got this big move coming down here towards the 30s. Okay, so just kind of keep those things in mind. It's not looking very positive on our daily time frame for XRP, which is quite unfortunate. In order to break out of this, we need to be above 67.5 cent. If we fail to break above 67.5 cent, then unfortunately it's inevitable that we have this breakdown, in my opinion. Let's go ahead and take a look at the weekly time frame. Okay, on the weekly time frame, we actually find ourselves in an interesting spot with we have the 200 exponential, the 50 exponential, and the 50 SMA all kind of lined up here. Currently, the 50 SMA is lower than the 200 EMA, but the 50 EMA has yet to cross down lower than the 200 exponential, and I'm not sure it's going to. We actually already saw a golden cross here on the 3rd of July. This was followed, of course, by a fantastic run, which was news-based, but we saw a 105% move. So a golden cross actually coincided with that that fantastic news around the judge basically saying that secondary sales of XRP on exchanges are not security sales, and so since then we see these stagnant. Whether we're going to get a death cross, I don't know. We're oversold. We can still see a good run here, but we're probably a few weeks out from that, considering we need to see the moves to the downside on the daily time frame first. But for the most part, everything's kind of stacked up quite nicely after we hit our C wave target highs. Everything there was exactly as we were kind of expecting. So we were kind of predicting out 93.76, I think it was, and we hit 93.8. So we hit the C wave high targets and we're coming down. We didn't hold the area that I was looking for. I was hoping to find the support at 52.2 to 58.5. We didn't. We came down lower, and therefore I suspect we are now in this bearish structure, taking us down a lot deeper. So for XRP, expect some volatility. I think ultimately we're going to be in some good positions later down the line, but for now, I think we've got to see some further downside price action and some more accumulative prices to be seen. Basically, prices where we can accumulate bigger positions in XRP if we wanted to. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. I'm going to leave the video right there. If you have found it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Until the next one though, guys, have a fantastic day.